Well, it's nice to meet you. Gary's told me lots of good things about you. So you've got four practices, is that right?
That's right, yeah.
How did you go about getting four? I mean, it's not an easy thing to do.
I'll be honest, I inherited them. My grandfather started the business in the
Oh, wow.
50s. He was sort of a leading contact lens practitioner of his time. In the 80s, my dad and my uncle joined the business, and that's when they sort of grew the business to three and four practices. And then I joined about 15 years ago.
Wow. Okay. So you've been in the well for a while now, Pete.
Yeah, yeah.
So I've only been in optics sort of 5 minutes in comparison, but I am a GP by background.
Hmm.
And how I got in this company, I was looking for something like this for a while, and I saw a New Zealand company trying to do something similar some time ago, but the technology wasn't as advanced as it is now.
Hmm.
So anyway, did Gary tell? Should I give you a whistle stop tour and then explain how we can set you up and stuff?
Sure, let's go for it.
Okay, so the product is called Dr. Noon, and in Korean, Noon means eye. That's why it's called Noon. But
Hmm.
essentially, it uses the existing images from your fundus camera to then give you a risk prediction for heart disease. And the way it does that is it looks at sort of microvascular changes in the back of the eye. So I can probably share my screen and show you. So everything I'm going to show you is on our website anyway, in case you want to refer to it later. But basically, the so with your fundus camera, I think you've got three reverb Cs and one Cobra. You said,
Yeah.
yeah. So although they currently use like an LED flash source, they don't use a traditional light source. I have to just check if they're completely compatible because the image quality may not be the same as the other cameras. But I'll double check and come back to you.
Sure.
But essentially, you would capture an image a bit like this, and
Hmm.
the AI is then comparing these images with hundreds of thousands of images in the database, looking for very subtle changes in the back of the eye, which
Hmm.
from your optometry
Hey
knowledge you
Google,
may
Volume
know as
1.
cotton wool spots, blot hemorrhages, microaneurysms, all those sorts of things. And then it combines those into a three-stage algorithm to then give you a risk prediction. So what they did was they looked at all these macular images. And then superimposed images of the heart. So the image on the
Hmm.
right is sort of CT scans of the heart to then give you a risk prediction for heart disease that is validated on UK ethnic patients, so all ethnicities, and as accurate as a CT scan. So if the scan says that you've not got heart disease, then you really don't have heart disease. So about 97% accuracy. So it's extremely accurate.
Hmm. It's
Um,
amazing.
yeah, I
Well
think
done you for developing it.
I wish I could take credit for it. So I've only been involved in the latter stage of development, the team have been spending almost $13 million in getting it to the place where it is now. And so the report is in 3 pages. I'll just show you in fact, I'll just show you how it works. So you'll get a login with a web
Hmm.
dashboard, and then it's all sort of GDPR compliant, so we don't take any identifiable information. On your camera, you can export images, can't you?
Hmm.
In JPEG or whatever format.
Hmm.
So what you would just do is literally drag and drop the fundus images. It's really important that you don't have any marks on the image. It doesn't say L or R or any numbers or anything like
Hmm.
that. And then the only information you need is the patient's age and sex. And then you press upload. There's videos on our website with step-by-step instructions, but I'm just showing you quickly. Um, And then what it will do is it will compare these particular images with every other patient in our database to then give you a risk prediction. So let's just take this patient as an example. And it takes about 45 seconds. So the fundus images is what you would capture, and the software is then in real time giving you like a black and white negative of the image, which is unique to that person.
Hmm.
And then on the first page of the report, it gives you a risk prediction. So is it low risk, medium risk, or high risk? And this person is medium risk, which means their risk of having a heart attack in the next 5 years is between 1% and 5%. Okay. Now, bear in mind, men and women of a certain age, if you're 80-year-old man, your risk is going to be high anyway.
Hmm.
So this is somewhat related to age, but that's why the second page of the report is even more useful. Are you familiar with like myopic centiles?
Yes.
Yeah. So this is a bit like myopic centile. So
Hmm.
here this is I think this is a 60-year-old woman.
Hmm.
So in centile terms, she's slightly higher than average. So her centile is
Hmm.
70%. So she's 20% higher than the 50% average, which means she's higher risk than someone for her age. So compared to other 60-year-old women, she's higher risk than average.
Got it.
And then it will then give you a risk prediction over how, what that can be like over the next 10 years. But it really is really accurate, and we have lots of patients. So I'll just show you a couple of quick case studies of patients and then some clinics that are using it and how to get going. So again, it's all on the resource section of our website. So this is a good example of a patient who had a Dr. Moon score. So if they went to their GP before, they had all of these things done. The sugar level was slightly, it was actually fine. But then they did this retinal score and actually showed them to be high risk. So then they went to a cardiologist who did an ECG and it showed they had a previous heart attack, which wasn't picked up if you went to the GP.
Mm.
You may get patients when you refer them back to their GP, their GP say, oh, everything's fine. And that's because their GP are using kind of like slightly outdated technologies. That's not to say that what the GPs are doing are useless, because I am a GP, but but in the future there'll be more and more like diagnostics related to retinal and microaneurysms and this sort of thing. But there is a sample letter that we send to you, which basically you can send to GPs because they are financially incentivized to increase the number of people they're diagnosing with cardiovascular disease. They get a sort of financial payment at the end of.
Sorry, what? Explain that.
Yeah, so basically, the GP contract, how GPs get paid, 80% of what GPs get paid for in the NHS is the number of patients they have. So if I've got 10,000 patients on my list, I get a block payment each quarter based on my list size. Whether the patient comes once or 100 times a year, it's still the same
You
amount
just
of
got to
money.
keep them
Okay?
alive.
Yeah, but the rest of the 25% comes from something called the QOF contract, and that's based like a fee for service. So if GPs manage to lower your blood pressure, if they manage to cut your risk of this, that, and the other, then they get incentive-based payments based on how much they can lower it. So the target for 2025-26, it used to have all sorts of markers to do with prostate cancer and diabetes, all sorts of other things. Now that's all been trimmed down, and it's only related to cardiovascular disease for this year's contract.
Really?
Yeah, so one of the things, because the government in the next 10 years, they want to reduce heart-related deaths by 25%. So
Got
this
it.
is why they want to bring, yeah. So if you look at, for example, 2025 GP contract, of cardiovascular disease, this is on the template letter that we send, but, oops. Yeah, so you can see in 2025, the GP contract was significantly reformed and they retired all these indicators, and it's all shifted into cardiovascular prevention. So and there's more money now. So the focus is on identifying cardiovascular disease for GP. So hopefully you shouldn't get pushback from GPs about extra workload and all this sort of thing. They should be
Hmm.
incentivized to do more of this stuff.
Hmm.
Anyway, so if we then go back to this, you will have a 3-page report that goes to the patient, and you can email it to them afterwards. And the good thing is because there's no radiation, they can come back in 6 months or a year to have it retested because the score will go up or down depending on what else is going on.
Hmm. Okay.
So I'll give you a sort of quick case study of a practice in Chorleywood, just outside of London, that's using it. So they do about 10 of these a day because you're taking a fundus image anyway. They don't do
Hmm.
OCT, but I guess you do OCT, so you could package it with OCT or do it separately. And initially they were giving the report to the patient there and then, but then patients sometimes have questions, they don't understand the report, whatever. So what they do is they take all the pictures, they upload them all in real time, but then they say, we'll email you the report at the end of the day, and they send them all at the, because you don't want it to interfere with your dispensing time and other things.
Hmm.
So you send off, and then if there are any questions, and lots of the questions are answered on our website. So there's quite a lot of resources for patients understanding the report, what comes next, what do I do, FAQs, it's all on the website.
Hmm.
But for the very rare patient for whom you're still not 100% sure, we have got like a WhatsApp line that you can contact us on. If you're unsure and the patient is happy to share their information, we can contact them and give them advice.
Sure.
What do you
Okay.
charge for eye tests, or do you bundle it up with something else?
Say that again.
What do you charge for eye tests?
£44 for a regular sight test, £29 for an OCT.
Okay.
But I would be quite glad to charge £50 for this.
Yeah, I think that's the RRP, £50, £75, depending on where you are.
Yeah,
And I don't know if Gary told you, but our price to you reflects the volume that you do, but somewhere between 15 and £20 per report is what we would charge you. Um,
right.
But
so you'd make at least £30 per report, and we would bill you just based on usage. So there's no upfront investment. Use your
Mm-hmm.
camera, and then at the end of each month, whatever you've used, we'll invoice you for.
and the
Got
more
it.
you use it, the more the price goes down.
Yeah. So we'll do it on a monthly basis, and I'll send you the price list of it. The only thing I have to double check is the camera, because I think at the moment there is some issue about regulatory approval for the LED cameras. But I'll double check and come back to you on that.
Mm-hmm.
Are
Do you
you
have
not
Okay.
selling? Are you? Is the company not selling compatible cameras as well? For
Yeah, yeah. So,
really
so we
quite
can put you in touch, but I guess you won't want to necessarily invest. I mean, we can happily put you in touch with a provider that you can lease a camera from or buy a camera from.
Mm.
But if you've just spent a lot of money on OCT, you probably don't want to do that again.
Yeah, a cool 75,000. Um, okay, cool. Couple of questions. One, what resources do we have for sort of in-store and digitally in terms of promoting this?
Yeah. So we in the pack that we send you like a social media pack. I mean, Gary's the expert on social media, but we have a social
Mm-hmm.
media pack that you can advertise it on your website. We have like leaflets that we can post to you.
Mm-hmm.
We've got A5, A4, A3, and there's also these struts that you can put, the little thing in your waiting area.
Mm-hmm.
And
And
post you all of
and
that.
can I jump in here because you're already my client? We're gonna go to town on this. You've got us in your
Okay.
pocket. So
Do you have some sort of information pack that we can send to the local GPs as well from us to say, here, this is what we're doing. By all means, refer your patients to us. This is the price. Da, 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 da.
Yes, yes. So we focus it mainly on the QoF contract because that's what they'll be interested in listening to. But yes, in the pack that we send out, there's a link there, and you can edit it to your whatever satisfaction. But I certainly recommend you make preemptive contact with the GPs so they
Mhm.
know this is coming.
Hussein, am I right in
Okay.
saying when the patient takes it back to their GP and say, "Look what I just got from my optician," that will spark an interest straight away.
Yeah, it should do that. I mean, at the beginning, especially if it's new, they will be like, "Oh, I don't know this, I don't trust this, I don't understand this." So that's why the education piece to GPs at the beginning is important. And on our website, we have a lot of like clinical publications which back up the science behind it. And we are in the process of getting approval from ICBs, but that's going to take 2 or 3 years to get
Yeah.
funding for this.
Yeah. So that will essentially become under the mix kind of schemes eventually.
Yeah, so I had a conversation with one of the Loxus yesterday because there's a national pilot on blood pressure monitoring. So we hope
Hmm.
something like this will come into that in the future.
Cool. Cool. Okay. How quickly can we roll this out and start trialing it?
So if you had a compatible camera, I'd say this afternoon because I just need to set you up with a username and password and you go on. For this one, I have to just check with the manufacturer.
What about the Cobra?
So from what I saw about the Cobra, again, it's an LED camera. But can you check? Is it the Cobra HD or which one do you have?
I think it's HD, but I'd have to double check.
Yeah, you got just send me a WhatsApp with whichever cameras you have, and
Sure.
it's the Revo FC is the other one, right?
Yeah, Revo FC 130, I think it is. Let me just triple check. I did ask the teams to let me
Fingers crossed.
know. Revo FC, yeah. Um,
Fine. Okay. Yeah, I'll double check that and come back to you hopefully within the next day or so. And
mhm.
and then I think the Cobra you said is Cobra HD, right?
It, I'm not sure, but I'm pretty certain it's a code. Let me just check. I think testing has just become available. Hang on just a moment. I'm just on oh, it's a Cobra HD, yeah. Cobra HD Fundus camera. Oh, have I lost you?
Ethan, I've recorded that. I've recorded this as video. So I'll send it to you so you can show your dad and uncle, and they can watch it
Yeah,
too. So
sounds
that
good.
for every single word has been spoken.
I'm so interested and so keen to get this rolling. However, I have got a patient to love you. I really
Thanks.
time
Cheers.
taken